Welcome to the last TBR Tailspin of the year, and I'm really hoping we're going to be ending on a high. Last month I played the game as a 2-player with Mashou from Bookwood, and I had a really great time with it. This month I'm going back to playing on my own, and I'm also going back to using the screen recorded digital die rather than rolling those physical ones. They just don't seem to record the numbers very well. I'm really hoping that for Christmas I'll be able to buy myself a really nice set that will look better for recording. There are a couple of buddy reads and readathons that I would like to work into the TBR if at all possible. Lightfall is a week to 10-day long event that is run by G over at Book Roast. It's a spin-off event of her magical readathon that runs in April and in September. This little shorter readathon is holiday themed. We visit the little magical village that resides near the school that we're all going to for Magical Readathon, and we visit the different shops in order to fulfill our reading prompts. We have a loyalty card that we get stamped each time we visit a shop, and over multiple Lightfalls we're supposed to fill out our loyalty card, and then there's a reward. I did Lightfall last year and I think I about half filled my loyalty card, so I'm really hoping that I can finish it off this year. Angela Hart over at Books Are My Heart hosts the Cozy Mystery Book Club that runs every month. And in December, instead of doing a live stream discussion, she runs the 12 Days of Cozies right at the start of the month. There's no prompts to this, it's not a readathon in that sense, but the point is to try and embrace coziness, to read as many cozy mysteries as you can to kind of hit that wintry vibe. It's a really, really big event. She puts so much work into it. There are giveaways, there are author interviews, there are Instagram prompts. And while I might take part in some of that, depending on whether I've read the books that are being talked about, I'm probably not going to do the Instagram prompts because I'm just not feeling Instagram at the moment. What I will try and do instead is really prioritize cozies for those 12 days. So I would like to get quite a few cozy mysteries onto this TBR if I can. The book that I obviously absolutely have to read is the December pick for Plot Luck podcast. I will link to that below, but I'm one of the hosts and we are reading Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid this month. This will be my second book by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I adored The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It was an absolute 5-star favourite book of the year for me back when I read it, but I haven't read any of her other books since because she tends to write books that are quite focused on celebrities, on musicians, that sort of thing, and that's just not something I ever really connect with. Whereas this book is set in the 60s and is about astronauts, and that sounds far more interesting to me. This was a book that my co-host Susan picked, but honestly I would probably have picked it up myself anyway at some point, so I quite sneakily agreed. To really, really quickly go back over the rules, I start down at the nest, I roll the dice to work my way up to the sky. If I land on an updraft, that lets me skip ahead some. If I collide with another dragon, I fall backwards. In the middle, we have the tailspin, and depending on chance, that can move us either ahead or back, but it always adds a book cover colour choice to the TBR. The spaces that I can land on are one of 6 colours, and each gives me a different category. Blacks are rereads, the blues are mood reads, the yellows are to continue a series, and the greens are to pick a new specific prompt from my TBR prompt card pile. The reds are challenge books, so those can be for other readathons or for year-long reading challenges, which I am obviously trying to wrap up this month specifically. And the purples are for a personal reading goal. And for me, my personal reading goal has been consistently that I am trying to work on my NetGalley ratio, my NetGalley backlog, and so I'll be reading an arc for these prompts. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So the first roll landed us on a challenge book. I'm going to use this with the Year in Aldea year-long reading challenge and go for December's prompt. This has me entering Dark Meadow, and the prompt is to read my most anticipated book. So one of my most anticipated books has been Mark Wardell's fourth book in the Teachers in Love series, Husband of the Year. There was quite a delay in this one coming out because the first three books were self-published. I read them all, I loved them all, and then the series got picked up for traditional publishing, so there was a little bit more of a gap than had been expected between the third book coming out and this fourth book. The fourth book is interesting because the previous three books have all featured different couples. There's always at least one teacher in the romantic pairing, and there's a slightly loosey-goosey kind of interconnectedness to the series. They either work at the same school or they know people within the kind of education industry, but it's always a different couple. This fourth book actually takes us back to the couple from the first book and is, I guess, an extended version of their happily ever after, their wedding. I'm really excited to see this couple again, but also to wrap up this series that I have been looking forward to finishing for quite some time. One, two, three. The next space is a purple, and that is the personal goals. So I'm going to be picking up one of my NetGalley arcs. For this, I'm going to pick up Edam and Weep by Linda Reilly. This is the sixth book in her Grilled Cheese Mystery series. It's a series that I have been so pleasantly surprised by. I ended up reading, I think, the first 3 or 4 books literally back to back. I love these characters so much. I love the setting. I love the grilled cheese shop. I love the recipes that come out of it, although I will need to stock up on some kind of cheese. But these books are so much fun. The description for this one talks about a murder that is going to occur at a fundraiser, but from the cover it also looks like this one might feature a wedding in some way too, so that might be quite fun to put next to Husband of the Year. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. For this continuous series prompt, I'm going to pick the 5th book in the Three Dahlia series by Katy Watson. I started this series after I found the first book in a charity sale, and then I continued all of them. I think, again, the first 3 or 4 books completely back to back during the Get a Clue readathon in February. I devoured these books, I enjoyed them so much, and I'm really excited to read this relatively new installment. This mystery series is about a trio of actresses who have all played the same fictional detective at various points. We have the original actress from the movies that were in the 60s, we have the actress that played her in the 80s television series, and we have the young actress who is now playing her in the upcoming big budget Hollywood film. This means that we get 3 different points of view on the mystery, and we also get those 3 different age brackets in our protagonists, which adds a really nice nuance to the detectives. The 5th book is A Deadly Night at the Theatre, and this one is meant to be a bit more glitzy and glamorous and set in London's West End. One, two, three. Black gives us a reread for our 4th roll, and I'm having a little bit of indecision here. I have 3 really good options for it, and I'm just not quite sure what one I want to go with. I think what I'm going to do is tell you about all 3 and then leave it to you to vote in the comments and let me know which one you think I should go for. The first one is Hither Page by Sebastian. This is set right in the middle of winter, post-war England. It's about a jaded spy and a small-town country doctor who have to come together to solve a mystery. My other 2 options bring us back to that Teachers in Love series by Mark Wardell I was talking about for my first roll. The book that I put on the TBR is the 4th book, Husband of the Year. That book brings us back to the couple that were in the first book, Teacher of the Year. So I'm wondering, should I reread Teacher of the Year and then continue that couple's story with Husband of the Year? Or should I reread the third book in the series, Mistletoe and Mishigas? It is not about the same couple that's going to be in Husband of the Year, but it is the one chronologically that comes right before it. And obviously this one is set round about the current time of year, so again fits in with that holiday wintry vibe. Let me know which one of those three you think I should reread, and I'll let that decide what I go for. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Another continuous series. And for this one, I'm going to go with the Christmas Tree Farm Mystery series by Jacqueline Frost. The 6th book is called A Wonderful Christmas Crime. These are really fun murder mysteries that, as the title suggests, are set in a very, very, very small town called Mistletoe and the Christmas tree farm that sits just outside it. Over the books, over the years, we've seen Holly and her parents build out the Christmas tree farm into more and more of an event space. There's always something interesting happening. And again, this is a book series that I deeply love. And because they tend to come out at this time of year, because they're set at this time of year, they've become very much part of my late end of the year reading. And so I'm really, really excited to get this one onto the TBR. One, two, 4, 5. Another read and another challenge book. For this one, I'm going to go back to the year in Aldia again. I have one space out of my 12 monthly challenges that I just did not get to this year. The prompt was to use True Light and to read a book that had the word light in the title. I did try and fill this back in the month it was set for, and I started Lightfall by Ed Crocker. I featured it in a vlog. I can't remember what vlog. I will figure it out and I will link it below. But basically, I started the book, I didn't love it, I dithered, and I ended up DNFing it with the kind of proviso that I plan to go back to it at some point, preferably before the end of the year. Because I didn't have any other books on my TBR that were really jumping out at me that had light in it. The only book I had was The Theft of Sunlight, which would be a reread. So actually, I could have picked that for the no. So I'm going to pick a book that has light in the title to fill that prompt space, and I think I'm just going to unhaul Lightfall. The book that I am picking is A Little Light Mischief by Sebastian. This is like 3.5 in a series called The Turners, but I don't think you need to read the other books to read this one. It's one of those little insert novellas. At least that's what I'm hoping, because I haven't read the other books, but I do think I can get away with reading this as a standalone. It's a historical sapphic romance. It looks very light, it looks very quick and enjoyable. This will be a nice one for breaking up some of those cozies if I get a little bogged down in reading too many mysteries back to back. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So those are all of my picks for December. I like having lots of holiday style books on my TBR for early December to get me through that really rough patch at the beginning of December where work's still working, but you really just are mentally checked out. I am happy with the books I've got. I have a lot of winter themed books. I would like to find some more cozies. I think I did quite well stacking a few cozies in there for the 12 days, but I would like to grab a few more. That 12 days are probably going to be the 12 days that I will do the most reading of the month. And since I want to spend that time focused on cozies, have lots of options, and then maybe just leave those couple of extra books that are on the TBR, hopefully to be finished in the second fortnight, and ideally to double up on some of the Lightfall prompts once I know about them. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. TBRs are always my favourite thing to film. I'd love if you could like the video if you did enjoy it, and of course subscribe to the channel so that you can see how TBR Tailspin evolves as we go into 2026. Any and all comments are of course completely welcome, but I would really love if you could vote on that reread for me. It would really help me out. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in the new year. Goodbye.